Hello and welcome to BTC, Beasley Log Timber Company. And if you are going to be running a machine, I'm going to show you the points like on this Fellerbuncher here, what you need to check when y'all get started. Before you even get into it, you need to go around a visual, check all the lights, make sure they're operating and working, check all the sheet metal for bolts loose and guards out of the place, any kind of leaks that's up under the machine, just a visual check. Open the panels, check fluid levels, grease fittings, grease them every day. That's the whole life of this machine, is taking care of it and greasing it. And so we will go around, do a walk around, and I will show you all the stuff I'm talking about. First off, we have here on top of the machine is the lights. As you can just walk around, do a visual inspection, make sure they're up there and that they're working properly. As we see here, we got one broke out, the wire hanging. It needs to be replaced. You mark that down on your inspection tablet and we will fix it as you let us know. And as we go on from there, there's not many lights on this Fellerbuncher. We will go from there. There's some in the very front and these on the back of the cab, but they are need to be operational and checking that. First off, we will start back here at the back of the machine. Here is your hydraulic feel, as far as letting you know how much oil is in the hydraulic tank. It's got a sensor that tells you when it gets low, but it should never be that way. You should never hear the alarm unless you run it and a hose bust. You should always check it every morning. When you're checking, there's a dipstick right here to the gearbox. You pull it out, you check it, and it'll tell you full or low. Make sure it stays full. If it's not, if it's losing oil, you have to add it. Let me know, put it on your tablet, your checklist that you had your oil low and that. Check all your fittings for leaks. Your tank fill here. Make sure it stays full. And never like that. Your air breather. Just check it, visual check, make sure no leaks anywhere. If you have a leak, let us know and we'll either y'all can fix it if it's small minor leaks. If it's a major leak y'all can't do, we will send a mechanic out to fix it. And that's all that's back here is the hydraulic tank and the pump drive box. Coming on around to this side here, you have a visual of the engine. You just look and check it for leaks. Anything, make sure all the guards is in place. They're easy to get off and on. If they bent and can't open them up, let us know. We'll get it to work, because you got to be able to get into it to check it. Make sure, just check it. Make sure there's no leaks, water, air, oil. Just make sure there's no leaks, just to stay clean. Coming up here to this, where the fan is, you have your hydraulics, valves. Check them, just a visual check for leaks. Your water tank, you have a sight glass and a fill cap. Check water every day, just like your engine oil and all your things. But that's where your radiator cap is up top and you got a sight glass. You also have a dipstick here for your pump drive motor. That's where you check the oil there and keep it full. You fill it, it goes down to your drive T-case. And you check all there. And that's pretty much about right there on that one. This here, the other day I didn't show you, but there's no grease fittings as of right there. You have grease fittings in the center section on your steering cylinders and on your center pins, the rod end and the barrel end.
Where's the rod end?
This is the rod end. The barrel end has a grease fitting also. It's got on the fitting on the other side. I'll show it to you. But you grease them every day. There's not this here once a week or every other day, every day. All the arms up here, wherever there's a pin, there's a grease fitting. It is to be greased every day. But do a visual up under the bottom, the belly pans, the guards, make sure they're in place. And if you see oil in the bottom of the machine, there's a leak somewhere. Try to find it. Don't just keep running it until it burns something up. On your Same thing up here. If you have a pin, anywhere you have a pin, you're gonna have a grease fitting, and probably several. There's one in here and out here. It's in several places. Grease every day. That is the life of the machine. And just do visual check walking around. If you have bolts missing, let us know. We will get them fixed. If there's cracks in the frame, just look visual for cracks in sections around. Let us know. And just like I say, it's a visual, easy do, walk around, inspect. It don't take long at all to go through it. And once you inspect the tractor and go through with all the grease fittings and grease it and check the oil levels, it's self-explanatory through your inspection list as far as what is here and what's not done and everything, and doing good. And then you have more grease fittings here on the center section, again on this side and on the steering cylinders. And here and this side here is, we come all the way around, you have your dipstick to check your engine oil here, your fuel here. Here's a bank of grease fittings, which is for your cradle bushings. That's up on this rear axle where it oscillates. It's supposed to be greased every day also, and it goes also to the barrel end of your steering cylinder, which you couldn't see a while ago. It goes to those, and that is that. And make sure, just look at all your hose fittings and your belts. Make sure they're snug and tight, and if you have any leaks, just let us know. It's pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory. It's mainly a visual check to make sure the machine is in good operating order and good to go. And if you have any questions, this here's a printout of the machine that tells you everything, where the grease fittings are, the hours, how many times it's supposed to be. It tells you like one fitting here for 8 hours, one, and doing like that. It tells you where every grease fitting is. It tells you what to check at what hour rating and what to do. And most time it's every 8 hours. It says check. It tells you what items to check to where you can keep up with it, and that is your responsibility to keep this machine in operating order and check. If you find a problem, let me know. You can call, most of your crew leaders has got my number, and they will call me and let me know what needs to be done, and I will fix it. All right. Here's the key switch. It's a simple, turn it on, and your monitor here will go through a checklist, checking and telling you what all's ready and what's not ready as far as to be done. Here is the monitor gauges showing, shut up, get out of there. It's showing what is correct and everything that's working right. You have your RPMs as far as revving up the engine. Here's your hydraulic activation switch, your saw, your fan, auto fan for reversing, your light switch, your parking brake. Here, that activates and deactivates the parking brake. Your pedals, as a self-explanatory through your diagrams here, what function and what pedal does what down here at the floorboard. It tells you which pedal does what, your brakes, but it is self-explanatory as far as to what does what. It tells you also like the joystick, right or left here. The joystick here does this, open and close your arms. And you have a safety hatch at the very top to let you out in case you do happen to flip it over, which it has happened, and it's not terribly awful wrong. And always wear your seat belt while you're in here, because it is a very serious factor to keep it running and keep it on. Thank you. The 4 grease fittings right here Two of them is for your barrel end of your steering cylinders. The other two is for the oscillation on your rear axle, or the front and rear oscillation joint. That's what these 4 grease fittings are for right here. It's every day, every 8 hours, you grease it. Come up here to the center section. You have one on the rod side here. For this side, you have the center section for articulating joint. You have a grease fitting here, and you have one at the top up here for this one. And those are to be greased every 8 hours also. Every grease fitting is every 8 hours. And then you have the ones here for the lift arm cylinder here, barrel in, the lift arm itself, the tilt cylinder, grease fittings. Every day you grease this. Then you have your link arm grease fitting here, the tilt cylinder rod in, your tilt link grease fitting, your main lift arm to the head grease fitting, the other part of your link arm grease fitting, and then it goes to your cylinder for your accumulating arm. Your accumulating arm, you have a grease fitting here for your big grab arm. You have one down here for the grab arm. You have one here for the bushing here. You have the one here for the grab arm cylinder. Then you have these 3 in here. Is for 2 of them. They're for your saw bearings, upper and lower. And the other one is just a purge fitting. You have a grease fitting here for your grab arm, your accumulating arm to where it pivots. And then you come to this side of the head and you have the same thing, your lift arm to saw head grease fitting, your tilt link arm, your link arm here, your tilt cylinder rod end, your tilt link, and then you have the lift arm rod cylinder pin. And then you go to the other side back here and you go to the other 3 for your barrel end tilt, your lift arm lift, and this barrel end to your lift cylinder. And then you go to your other steering cylinder, and that is all of them that you can get to as far as greasing every day. And every now and then grease your door hinges, say once a month, to be fine with them, because you don't, it's just want to keep them lubricated to where you can open it and keep them to where they'll work instead of freezing up.
In this video, we're going to go over how to use the inspection tablet each day. So when you first get on the tablet, it's going to come up to this IBM MOS 360 screen. You're going to click on this Trimble Asset Inspection, which you can't read the whole thing. It says Trimble Asset INS. So you're going to click on that, and it's going to load the app. And then when it comes up to this first screen, I'm going to log back out and show you. If you ever see this right here where it says BTC038 has the password and remember me, you're just going to hit log in. If nothing's wrong and that information is saved, it should automatically log in, and it'll bring you up to this next section where it says employee ID and PIN. This is where you're going to put in your own username and your own PIN number. So everybody's login is the first initial of your first name and your last name. If you have an issue with it, it's not in there, or you need to get one added, tell your crew leader to get in touch with me, Samuel, and we'll get it added in and text it to them. So I'm going to put my information in. And then everybody's password for a logging crew for now is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then once you get up to this screen, you're going to hit Start Inspection. This will always be the only thing you click at this point. So you hit Start Inspection. And then it's going to bring you up to this unit section. It's going to ask you to enter in the unit right here on this top right hand side. So you just click right here where it says Enter Unit. And then you can type in the number. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could hit Scan Unit. And if you have a barcode on the unit, of course, if this pops up for the first time, it's going to ask, can you use the camera? We'll say, while using the app. You could scan the barcode. Most people find it easier just to enter in the unit since they're only 6 digits. So let's see, BLC, how about 326? And you just click off or hit go. And then it says that is a 2016 Caterpillar 313 FL. So we hit Start Inspection down here on the bottom. And on this next tab here, as before we begin the inspection, it's going to ask us a couple things. It's going to ask us the inspection type. So we're going to hit where it says Select Type. And we're going to always say Equipment. So you click on Equipment, hit OK. And then this next section right below that is one of the most important, the hour. You want to put the hours that it is today. It's important that you do this every day. If it's wrong, it won't take it. You'll get all the way through the inspection and it won't complete. You'll get an error that'll say object reference, something like that. If you have any issue with the hours and you're trying to put the current hours in and it won't take it, let Barry know, let me know, let Miss April Miller know. Either one of us can fix that, and it's a simple fix. It takes 1 to 2 minutes to get that fixed, and you'll be able to complete your inspection. Please don't not do your inspection for any reason that you get an error. You think your hours might not be right that you're trying to put in, or you don't have a username. Heck, if anything's wrong with your tablet, I can fix most anything remotely. If not, I will come out to the woods and bring you another tablet. So please reach out to us if you have any problems. I don't know the current hours on this, so I'm going to say what was in there was the last hours. I might have to go change that, but we're going to roll with it for now. It says it's at 100. I'm sure that's not right. We hit Perform Inspection. And then I'm going to flip the tablet around. It's a little easier to look at it. Well, let's see. Yeah, we're going to flip the tablet around, and it's going to go through this list right here. It's got about 20 different items of things to do with your piece of equipment, and you're going to either pass or fail it. So it says the first item is lights. If everything's good with lights, I'm going to click pass. If everything's not good with the lights, say if there's one that's hanging, there's one that's broke, you click on fail right here. It's going to bring up about 10 different reasons here that you can put in. It's broken, chipped, cracked, it ain't attached, it's shorted, seized, it's worn. You could put in comments in here and say Barry was supposed to fix. These comments come across to Barry, so anything you want him to know, you could say that this is my top left. Then you can also click right here, attach image, and you can take a picture of the light. That's even more helpful because Barry knows exactly what the part number is before he has to come out there. He can already have the part in hand before he makes a service trip out there. If you click on this, it's going to open up your camera. You can take a picture of the light. I'm going to take a picture of the light in this office. And then once you got that, you hit OK. And then now Barry's going to see a picture of that light that's broken. I got to select the reason. See, it won't let me hit save because I didn't select the reason. So I'm going to say it's broken. And then now I can hit save. And now that item just went away. And now what's going to happen with anything that you fail on here, it's going to stay failed until Barry corrects it. So the next time you go through it, if you failed it today and it hadn't been fixed tomorrow, you won't be able to hit pass until it's fixed. The next time that Barry does fix it, it's either going to say fixed or fail, where you'll hit fix to validate that the work has been performed. So you'll just go through this list as you're going through the equipment: steps, handrail, tires, tracks. Now some of these tires and tracks, if your tire is flat, don't fail it because your tire is flat. The whole reason for this check is to be a pre-inspection. So, you know, we're trying to look at anything that might be wrong before we get on the piece of equipment. So if it needs air in the tire, you put air in the tire and hit pass. Exhaust, if everything's good with that, pass. Fenders, bucket, some of these may not pertain to your piece of equipment. If it don't, just hit pass. Cutting edge teeth, lift mechanism, hoses is a good one. If there is a busted hose or a leak somewhere, this is a good place to fail it, to take a picture of it, to be descriptive in your comments. Fittings greased is one that should never be failed unless you got a problem with one of the fittings that's broke off or something. That should always be a pass. This is on here to confirm that you have indeed greased them fittings. And by clicking that pass, you're saying that you did. So if there becomes a problem where it hadn't been done and you're saying that you're passing it, you know, Barry might have a problem with that. So it's on here to make sure that you do it. So please make sure you do it before you hit pass. Wipers, battery cable, fan belt, engine hoses, air filter, guards, service brakes, parking brakes, backup alarm, fire extinguisher, gauges, hydraulic controls, glass, steering, seat belt, visible leaks. That's another great one that will be good to have a picture. If you can show where it is leaking, or be descriptive in the comments to tell us where it's leaking. And some of these too might be good to follow up with a phone call to Barry as well. Oil level, oil pressure, coolant levels, hydraulic oil level, transmission fluid level, and depth level. All of these are more mental checks for pre-inspection. None of these should be failed unless there's something wrong with the reservoir. Some reason why you can't check the level. Maybe the dipstick's broken off or somebody left it laying in the dirt somewhere. Other than that, you should just hit pass. And then once you get all the way to the end, you're going to hit complete inspection. And when I hit complete inspection, it's going to ask me a very important question. Is this equipment safe to operate? Barry's going to filter out his inspections he gets every day based upon what you say right here, yes or no. If you say it's not safe to operate, obviously that takes priority over somebody's wiper being broke. So if you're going to jump on the equipment and use it, it must be safe to operate. So don't say no unless you cannot get on the equipment and operate it. So if you say yes, and then it's going to say successfully created inspection after it's done. That's how you know that your inspection was complete. If you don't see success and successfully created inspection, your inspection did not go through. This can also be the place that you can get other errors. One common error that we see is an object error. It'll say something like object not referenced to an instance. That is usually the hours are not correct. They don't match what's in the computer. So that's when you're going to want to call one of us and let us fix it. There's an issue where the unit's not in there. All of these we can fix remotely. Even issues with if somebody messes up the login on the tablet and can't get in, you can call me. I can remote into it. I can fix any of that remotely. And whenever you get done with your inspection and you're ready to hand this to the next man, you see it says Samuel Newman's logged in there. Well, you don't want your name to be on the next inspection that the next man does. You want him to log in with his own login. So the way you do that is you hit home, and in this bottom right hand section, hit log out. And that's going to make it start all the way over for the next man. And then when he logs in, it's going to ask him for his employee ID and PIN. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My cell phone number is 478-867-2344. If not, feel free to reach out to Barry. Thank you.